Do you want to know how to apply bronzer and a blush? Thank you for watching. Hi, my name is Dajana, and before we start applying the bronzer, there are a few things that you should know about it. Some people might confuse bronzer with contour, and those are two different things. Contour is sculpting your face, and it's supposed to imitate natural shadows. That's why the colors used for it will be on the cooler side. Bronzer, however, is placed where the sun would naturally kiss your face. And that's why the colors used for bronzer will be more on the warm side. Another thing is that there are different types of bronzers. We have cream ones and powder versions. And also bronzers with different finishing. For example, matte finishing, like this one from Fenty Beauty, or shimmer finishing, like this one from Wet n Wild. If you have acne-prone and textured skin, I would recommend you going for the powder version with a matte finishing bronzer, because the shimmery one will bring more attention to the areas of your skin that you probably don't want everybody to be looking at, and the shimmer will be emphasizing the imperfections. But of course, the choice is yours, and you can always experiment with different finishings and formulas. When choosing the color of your foundation, also keep in mind the undertone. To figure out your undertone, you can look at your veins, but sometimes it might be hard to determine the real color of it. You could also ask somebody working at the store where you buy your makeup. However, that could be tricky as well because of the lighting in the store. How I discovered my undertone was through trying. I tried several foundations and also eyeshadows with cool and warm undertones, and I realized that the ones with warm undertone look better on my skin. If you have warm undertone, go for warm undertone in your bronzer, and if you have cool one, go for the cool one. Otherwise, the colors on your face might crash and you might look ashy, and you don't want that. Warm undertones are closer to orangey colors, and cool undertones are closer to grayish colors, but they are not those colors. They are still brown, but that's just the colors that they are closest to. When it comes to the application, if you apply cream bronzer, you could go with your fingers or with the sponge. I like to apply my powder bronzer with this angled brush from Spectrum. It has perfect shape and it's very easy to blend with. There are also other bigger and fluffier brushes, but here again the choice is yours. Like with everything in makeup, try to experiment with different finishing, with different formulas, products, tools, and just find out what works best for you. Because the fact that something works for me doesn't mean that it's going to work for you, because we all have different skin and experiences and needs and all these things. When it comes to the order of applying makeup, there is no really right or wrong. Sometimes I like to apply my bronzer after doing my foundation, concealer, and setting powder, and then going with the bronzer. And sometimes I go with the bronzer at the end. Like right now, I have my skincare, foundation, concealer, setting powder, brows, and eyes ready. So now it's time for the bronzer. If you use cream bronzer, I recommend you applying it after foundation, but before the setting powder. In that way, it's gonna be applied the smoothest on your skin. Okay, so let's move on to the application. When you apply your bronzer, try to not go any further than beginning of your pupils, so until here. And when you touch your face, you could feel your bone. And this is where I'm going to apply my bronzer. So I'm going with the bronzer from Fenty Beauty in color Shady Beast. And I'm going from the beginning of my bone, cheekbone, until more or less the beginning of my eye. This bronzer from Fenty Beauty is really beginners friendly because it won't leave you with smudges on your face, and you can build up the intensity of the color. So I'm starting from my cheek, building up the intensity a little bit and going up, and then to connect everything, going also down to the jawline and also to the neck because that's visible and part of your face as well. And we're gonna do the same on the other side. Starting with the cheek first. As you can see, I have an unwanted and uninvited friend on the side, and if I was applying the shimmer bronzer, it would definitely attract more attention to the part of my face. So again, starting with the cheek and going up to the forehead, connecting it with the previous part, and then going down to the jawline and onto the neck. So when you apply the bronzer, the tip is to do it like in the shape of number 3, and then also reverse on the other side. Don't forget that the nose is part of the family too, so with what's left on your brush, you could slightly just touch your nose to make sure it has the same color like the rest of your face. Just a little bit, you're not going to see huge difference. You don't want to see harsh lines with the bronzer. And a little bit underneath your nose. What you could do is go in with a clean brush, for example, powder brush, and just blend the edges of your bronzer to make sure that you really cannot see where it finishes or ends. Also, maybe if by accident you apply too much, you could also just get rid of the excess. And as always with everyday makeup, don't apply too much. You want it to look natural and you don't want anybody to be able to see where it really starts or finishes. You want it to be blended with your foundation and the rest of your skin and look pretty natural as for makeup. Heavy contour or bronzer would look nice on photos or videos, but not for everyday daily light. If you apply your bronzer too low, you would probably be pulling your face down and make it look older, and we don't want it. We want everything to be more lifted through makeup, and because of that we look fresher and younger. Before applying the bronzer, the face looked pretty flat, but right now it has more dimension and shape to it. When it comes to the blush, there are also cream and powder versions with matte and shimmer finishing. Important tip is to match the undertone of your lipstick with the undertone of your blush. If you use the warm undertone of your blush, go for the warm undertone of your lipstick. If you go for the cool undertone of your blush, go for the cool one of your lipstick as well. When you apply your blush, you could go with it a little bit further than your bronzer until like the middle of your pupils, so until here more or less, and definitely above the bronzer. But I like to go a little bit before that. I'll be using the blush from Nars, and I'll be using the same brush that I used for my bronzer. Top of the excess and starting above my bronzer, tapping, and then I'm gonna just bring it upwards a little bit with what's left on the brush and blend it in with the rest of the face. And the same on the other side. Some people like to apply their blush when they smile here on your cheeks, but then when you stop smiling, your face goes down. That's why for me personally, I like to apply makeup in like the neutral position without doing any crazy faces. Because when you stop making your faces, the shape of your face changes. When it comes to the blush, I have to mention the one from Bourjois that I also like to use. They're available at the drugstore and they have many different colors. But I'm really curious, what are your favorite blushes and bronzers? Let me know down in the comments and let me know how you liked that video and what else you would like to see me doing. Make sure to check out my other makeup videos, but also my dance videos. And until next time.